Hello friends and welcome to second session of our course. And if you remember the last class I stopped here, so where I just gave you a brief introduction about initials, finals and tones. So now today we are going to see all these three things in more detail, and basically we are trying to understand the pronunciation of pinyin word. So let's get started. Yeah. Okay. So now, as I mentioned in the previous class, initials are consonants of English alphabets. Finals are vowels, and we have a special vowel here. And tones are the tone marks which we have to put on the words of pinyin syllable. So as you see here, I have written all the initials, or you can say it as consonants of English letters, okay, or of English alphabets. So we just go one by one and understand the pronunciation of each of these, because some of the initials have similar pronunciation as English, but some of the initials have a different pronunciation. So I'm just going to read one by one and trying to, and will tell you how or which are the initials which have a pronunciation different from English language. Okay, so first we'll start with the B. So B is like b. Okay, so sometimes it also sounds like p, right? P is like p. How do you pronounce poo? Like so p. Okay, so it's called as an aspirated sound, where that when you say p, there's an air which should come out of your mouth, so it's not p. Then M has the same pronunciation as English, like ma. F again same as f. D is different, so D is like the. So we never say D as d. It's always like the. Then comes T, so T is like th, which is again different from English. G is same as English, like how we say gun or g. K is again different, so K is like k, and H is like h. Okay, so basically the highlighted ones which you can see here, so these are the initials which have a pronunciation different from our English language. So in the continuation of this, next comes J. So J is like G. Okay, next comes Q. Q is again pronounced differently, which is like G. How we say cheese, like G. X is like she, and ZH is like dr. So how we say judge or George. The ending sound of dr. That is how we say ZH. CH is like tr. SH is like sh. R is like r. Okay, now here what we have to remember is whenever we are pronouncing the words which starts with ZH, CH, SH and R, we have to roll our tongue. Okay, if we roll our tongue, then we'll get this exact pronunciation. And also if you can see here the CH and Q, the sound is very sound, it looks very similar, or sounds very similar, but when you roll the tongue for this, the differentiation will come. Similarly for X is also she, here also sh, but when you roll the tongue, the differentiation you can make out. Okay, and this R have a very peculiar sound, which varies from region to region in China. Some of the people, when they say anything starts with r, it sounds like y, and in some places it sounds like y. Okay, so it's like r, right? Then comes N. N is same as na. Z is again like yeah, z, how we say z. So it's like z. So basically you have to press your teeth and say z, right? Okay, the next set of initials like C. So C is like ts, ts. So we never say C as like how we say can or cat. No, never say C like k. It's always like ts, like hat, ts, ts. L is like l. S is same as s, and W is like w, and Y is like y. Okay, now if you see the W and Y, so I have marked it in a different color. So these are called as semi-initials. Okay, so why they are called as semi-initials, I will explain you in the later part when I am explaining the spelling rules. Okay. So these all were initials till now what we have seen, and as you see, so these are the some of the initials which are highlighted one are pronounced different from English language. Okay, now moving forward, we'll go to finals. So as I mentioned, finals are our vowels. Here you can see we have 5 vowels, and then there's a special vowel here. Okay, so we'll start with one by one. So A is pronounced as A, so I'm pronouncing it as an, ang, I, ow. Okay. Now O is like O. Okay, so it's like O, ong. Okay, so never say O as ong. So it's always it is like ong. Like suppose if I have to say a word like, so in English I will say it as song, but it is not song, it is song, ong. So O is always like ong. Okay. Next comes E. So E is like a. So basically, it's like a short A. So ung, a, okay. Then comes I. I is like E. So I pronounce as E. So I'm pronouncing it as ya, yao, yan, yang, right? Next comes U. So U is like U. So when I'm pronouncing U, it is like ua, uo, y, and so on. Okay, and now this is a special finals in Chinese language which we don't have in English. It is like yu, yu, okay, yu, right? So don't worry, all this pronunciation will come with the time. So you have to do practice for to understand this pronunciation. So I will show you how you can practice for the better pronunciation of all these initials and finals. Okay. Now if you have to say like this word, so it will be yue, yuan, yun. Okay. So we saw initials, we saw finals, and next we are going to the tones. Okay, as I told you, there are a total of 4 tones, and how we pronounce it also it is different. Like ma, 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 ma. Right? Similarly, this will be thang, 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 thang. Right? Okay, so these are the 3 important parts of pinyin word which we are going to learn, that is initials, finals, and tones. Okay. Now again, this is just for your understanding. As I told you, like the same word ma but different different tones will have different meaning because the character is totally different and it's a totally different word. Okay. Now there is something called as a pinyin chart which you can easily find on Google. You can just type Yabla pinyin chart. Okay, so this is how you can get it. Now this pinyin chart will help you to understand the pronunciation of initials, finals, and how to differentiate between tones. Okay, so how to use this pinyin chart? So on top, if you can see, these all are finals and their combinations. Okay, on your left side, these all are initials they have given. Okay, now if you have to understand the pronunciation of some initial or some final, like as I was giving you an example of ong, or let's say if you want to understand how eng is pronounced, so you can just click on this. It will give you all the, it will, along with the pronunciation of eng, it also give you all 4 tones. Okay, now you can just click on any of the 4 tones.
Um, 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 um,
Okay, fine. Now if you want to differentiate between ang and ang, you can just go here and
um, um,
okay, you can differentiate. You can try to understand how ang is pronounced, how eng is pronounced. Now this was about the finals. Let's say if you want to, let's say how zh is pronounced, you can just go here and click.
cha,
You can also differentiate
cha,
between different tones.
cha, cha.
Okay. Next is like as I told you, sh and x is a very similar pronunciation. Again, you can just go and click and try to understand.
Sh, she,
Sh, she. So there is a difference between sh and x. Okay, so this pinyin chart will basically help you to understand the differentiation between the tones and how to pronounce some of the initials and finals which you are finding it difficult. So as I told you, there's a special vowel like u,
ü, 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 ü.
okay. Yeah, so this you can find it on Google, and you can use it to practice initial few maybe initial few classes. After few classes you need to practice to understand the pronunciation. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just go back to our slides. Okay, so we are going to learn few rules. I'll take you to the book to do that. And before that, I just wanted to make sure to tell you that what are the topics which will be covered in this level one. So there will be a total of 10 chapters, starting with greetings, introduction, getting to know people. In a coffee shop or bakery, ordering food, taking taxi, making an appointment, booking ticket, shopping, and review. Okay, so all these topics, the related grammar points, the related vocabulary will be covered in a much more detailed. Okay, and in addition to this, I'll also introduce you to Chinese culture and some business etiquettes and do's and don'ts of when you are in China or dealing with people in China. Okay, now we'll just move to chapter now. Okay, so as you see, this is the first chapter, which is like greetings. Before we go to start learning the words and all, so basically in this chapter there is not much of many words or many sentences which you are going to learn. It's just basic greetings we are going to learn. But before that, we need to understand some of the rules. Okay, and also we need to understand, before we go jump into words, we have to understand the how to pronounce that. So we need to do the practice of initials, finals, and then we'll move on to the learning words. Okay, so as we are going to do, what we are going to do, we are going to learn the spelling rules first. Okay, so now there are spelling rules which we need to understand once we start reading pinyin word. Okay, so the first rule, what does it say? So if you remember, I told you that Y and W, they are semi-initials. Okay, now they are not initials. The reason is, in some of the words in Mandarin language starts with finals. Okay, like I or the special U, it starts with I or U. Now you cannot have a word with a single letter. Okay, just to make a word look better, what they do, they put, for the words which starts with I, they just put Y before that. Okay, and also the words which start with U, they just put Y before that. Okay, so you can, if you see here this table, okay, so the word is actually E, but they just put Y before that because you cannot have a word with a single letter, so they say E. So in these all these things where there is an I after Y is silent. Okay, so when I'm pronouncing these words, it will be E, it will be in, it will be ing. Okay, next, for some of the words, what they do, they just replace I with a Y. Okay, in such cases we don't keep Y as silent, but we pronounce Y. How do we say it in English? Like here, ya, yao, yan, yang, right? Similarly here, it will become yo, yong. Okay, and here yu, yue, yuan, yu. Right, okay, so this is the first rule we have to remember. So basically in this, you really don't need to remember much, except for this, that whenever there is a Y before I, we keep it silent. Okay, next, similarly, how we saw that some of the words start with I and the special U, they put Y before that. Similarly, some of the words starts with U or have only U pronunciation. Okay, so for that, what they do is they put W before that. Okay, so like U, so it's like woo, woo. So there will be a W sound, woo, along with U. Okay, so it's wa, y, wan, wang. So original word actually has been like this, wang, but we said wang, right? And the advantage of this rule is you don't have to remember anything because you are going to see the words like this. So you pronounce W how we say it in English. So basically you don't need to really remember anything in this. Okay. The next rule is, which again we need to remember, is see, whenever there is a U after J, Q, and X, it's always a special U. Okay, but for some reason they don't write it as a special U, they write it as a normal U. But we have to remember when we are pronouncing the words which are like JU or QU or XU. So whenever there's a U after J, Q, and X, it is a special U. So when I'm pronouncing this, I don't pronounce this as Ju. I don't pronounce this as Ju. I pronounce this as Ju, Ju, Shu, because it's a special U. So similarly, this will be Chue, Chue, Shui. Right? Okay. Now the last rule is, whenever you see I after ZH, CH, SH, Z, C, S, and R, we don't pronounce it. So I is silent here. Okay, so basically, if you remember, the pronunciation of I is like E. So I don't say is that ch, I'll say ch, ch, sh. Okay, ts, 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 r. Okay, so these are the 4 basic rules which we need to remember. Okay, once we are familiar with these rules, okay, and we'll become familiar once we start doing the exercise. The next exercise which I'm going to show you is, okay, so here we are actually going to understand the pronunciation of finals. Okay, so this is something which you need to do at your by yourself. Okay, so that you can understand the pronunciation, how to pronounce and how to differentiate. Okay, no, I'll just show you some of the examples, and later on you can just try to do it by yourself. So here, when I say the pronunciation of final, so what they are going to do is they are going to compare here the pronunciation of a, and e, right? A, e, and I basically. So a, and e. Okay, so how I'm going to do it? I'm just going to read it for some of the things. I'm just going to read it for you. Okay, so here when I'm reading la, l, li, la, l, li, right? So like that, you have to read all these words like from top to bottom, so that you can understand the differentiation between a, and I, right? Similarly, I just read it here. So they are trying to differentiate between the normal U and the special U. So lu, yu, right? Lu, yu. Similarly, you can try to savor all those things. And here, if you see, after J, Q, and X, they are not writing as a special U, but we have to pronounce it as a special U. Okay. Similarly, gai, 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 gai. So here they are comparing I and A, right? Next is, so Y and way. So Y, way. Okay. Next is ye and ya. So which this says ye, ya. Okay, so I'm just reading one of each of these, and remaining you can just pause the video and try to read it all the words like top to bottom. Okay, this one is yue, ye. Okay, similarly this will be yue, ye. Right now, differentiating between o, uo, and o. So it will be bo, guo, gao. Okay, so o, uo, ao. Bo, guo, gao. Right? Next is ao and ua. So it will be gao, gua. Yao, oh, sorry. So next one is yao and yu. So it will be yao and yo. Okay. Next is an, ang. So it is gan, gang. Okay. So here I'm not giving importance to tones yet. I'm just trying to first tell you the pronunciation of final. So not much focus on the tones now. Okay. Next is un and ang. So it gun, gung. Okay. An and un. It will be nan and nun. Okay. Next is ang and ang. So it will be pang, pung. Okay. Next one, ang and ong. So it is thang, thong. In and ing. It will be in and ing. Okay. Next is yang, yong. So it is yang, yong. Next is yun, un. So yun, one. Okay. Next one is yuan and yan. So it is yuan, yan. Then again wan and wang. So it is wan and wang. Okay, so these are all the like major possibilities of of finals and their combinations. Okay, so you can just practice this by yourself. You can just pause the video after each of my pronunciation and then try to say all these words one by one. Okay, next we'll move to pronunciation of initials. Okay, so now we have to differentiate between pronunciation of initials. So the first one is b and p. So it will be ba, pa. Okay, next is d and t, that is the and th. So the, th. Okay, next is g and k, that is guy and kai. Okay, next one is f and h. So it is fo, f is fo, and huo. right? Next one is no, lo, and r. Okay, so it is no, lo, r. Okay, I'm just reading one more time, one more for you for this. Ni, li, r. Okay, now you remember why I don't say re here? Because I is silent here. So we have to remember those rules also when I'm pronouncing. Okay. Next is ZH, like, oh sorry, Z, J, and G. Z, J, and G. So again for Z and ZH, I is silent. So I'm saying Z, J, G. Okay, Z, J, G. Right. Next one is C, that is S, Ch, and Chi. Okay, so again I is silent for C and CH, so like S, Ch, and Chi. Okay, next is S, SH, like S, Sh, and She. S, Sh, and She. Okay, again S is silent, I is silent for S and SH, so it will be S, Sh, and She. Okay, fine. So we are going to stop here for today, right? So today we actually saw the pinyin syllabi, how it consists of three parts, that is initials, finals, and tones. Then we did the initials one by one. We went through the finals one by one. We just tried to differentiate between the tones as well. I have shown you a pinyin chart as well. And then we learned some spelling rules. That four rules we need to remember. And then we did try to understand the differentiation between the different initials and finals. Okay, in the next class we will start through differentiate between the tones, and then we'll move to a chapter where we start learning the words. Okay, thank you so much for your time, and in the next class I hope that you revise all these initials, finals, and tones, and try to refer to pinyin chart, which will definitely help you to understand the pronunciation part of Mandarin language. Okay, thank you so much, friends, and have a very good day.